name. Obviously, he's not really linked to the Pistons, but I know Vinny did mention him as Kobe White. Do you think that could kind of be like an under the radar name this trade deadline? It might not just be for the Pistons, but just in general. I feel like, once they traded Zach LaVine, he started putting it all together. But they have Josh Giddey now, Ayo Sumo. They have a couple of guards in their rotation. It feels like they might want to trade one of them.
Yeah, I think Kobe White is an interesting one, also just because he's heading into a contract year now. But Kobe's someone who on any given night, can put up 20 points per game. Currently, I had to look it up. He's averaging 24 points. I know a limited sample size, but 24 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 44% from the field, 34% from 3. He's a volume scorer that I think if you were the Pistons does make sense, right? Like, I know a lot of people would make the Ivy comparison, and fair enough, but I just feel like he's someone who has throughout his career kind of shown the ability to be a bucket. He's never going to be a number one option on a team, but do I think he really could complement a number one option? Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to see Kobe White in a winning situation, whether that be in Detroit, where actually I do think he would be a great fit, or somewhere else. I think Kobe White 100% is a name to look out for on the trade market. The only reason I would say maybe not is just because of the resistance Chicago has shown to making in-season trades, and also just making any type of transaction in general. They have a bit of hesitancy to do, but I feel like, with no contract extension and heading into a free agency, I feel like maybe Chicago will try to get him on the move for something, but we'll see. They're kind of in a weird spot also in the Eastern Conference right now, where they're good enough to have a shot at the playoffs, but they're not bad enough to really be in that rebuilding phase where, Josh Giddey's playing, out of his mind this season, and the team as a whole is kind of gelling together. I think Matas looks incredible. And I think he's got such a high ceiling as well. So I think it'll be interesting. I think 100%, if I were to say if he's a fit or not on Detroit, 1,000% he's a fit. And I think he definitely elevates the ceiling of this team.
I mean, they're currently sitting at the 10th seed. I mean, that is such a Chicago Bulls thing to do, is kind of flirt in between that 9 and 10 seed. I think the reason why I found that interesting is, like, Josh Giddey is ahead of the snake. Trey Jones had started in Kobe White's place. And he's kind of an under the radar. You still have the Sumo, who's a really good on-ball defender. And not to mention, like, the contract that he's on, I think is like great. And I know the Pistons do have a lot of guards, but to me with him, it's like, if you want to bring him in as a sixth man, it makes a whole lot of sense, because I've seen this guy firsthand, take over games in a quarter just with his scoring. Like, whether it's, 3-point shooting, getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line, like, he would add a whole other dynamic that I think this team's missing right now. And it's, a 3-level scorer and consistent 3-point shooting. Like, obviously we have Duncan Robinson and he's getting his good, like, 10 to 12 3-point attempts a night, but this isn't the same team it was last season in terms of just 3-point volume. You don't have Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway accounting for 40% of your 3-point makes. It's solely on, Duncan Robinson. Cade is taking a little bit more. Tobias is taking more. I still think, like, if you're looking for improvements, I think 3-point shooting should be something that Trajan and the Pistons look at. I think Kobe would make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about how, the offense really has been struggling outside of Cade, and you look at someone who probably would not cost anywhere near what Lauri Markkanen costs, unless AK in Chicago's office has all of a sudden just raised the Kobe stocks out of the roof. I think he's going to cost less than any of the names we previously mentioned, and might have, honestly, similar offensive impact. I think Kobe's a really underrated player in the NBA in general. Obviously, right now he's dealing with some injury management, but I would think he's a great fit on this Pistons team. Now, can I say he's a championship level raiser in the way that Lauri Markkanen or Anthony Davis are? I don't know. it would remain to be seen just because, we really haven't seen him be a second, third option on a really good team at any point in his career. And when Chicago was really good, it was primarily Zach Levine, DeMar DeRozan that were getting things going, and then you still had Lonzo Ball there as well. So it's just interesting. I would definitely love to see his fit in Detroit, and if not, you look at maybe Los Angeles, if that'd be something that's interesting, if the Clippers are getting a little desperate, because I think the one thing about this Chicago team that is kind of interesting with the trades they've made thus far, is that they don't value first round compensation really
No.
much at all, which is super interesting building a team in today's NBA. But it's just like that's what kind of makes the Kobe White trade interesting as well, because I don't know what first round compensation that would cost, if any. In a normal front office, I think Kobe White would go for 1 to 2 picks at least. But who knows? It seems like Chicago really values players over picks. So if that's something they're looking for, Detroit might be able to. And his contract's not too large, where it would have to be super sacrificial. I don't know honestly what Kobe would cost. Now that I'm talking about it, no clue at all, because that Chicago front office is just so unpredictable.
Yeah, I know. Like he had mentioned, it doesn't mean that the Pistons are looking to go out and acquire Kobe White. I see a lot of people talking like, what does that mean for Ivy? What does that mean for Dennis Jenkins, Marcus Sasser? Well, it probably means one of those guys is involved in some sort of trade. I mean, you're not going to keep 6 guards on your team. I just think in his career so far, he's been more of a proven commodity than some players that we do have in the roster. And that's no slight at them. Obviously, it's been rotations, it's been injuries. He's just shown that if you give him more opportunity, especially when they traded Levine, I mean, he popped the hell off. And I was like, oh, maybe they have their guard of the future. And then they get, Getty. And then it's been just like a really weird, wonky roster. Like even like Kevin Herter is another guy that like maybe kind of like under the radar guy. He's a 3-point shooter. Maybe they try to look to trade for him. I know I had talked to a ESPN Chicago podcaster, and he's like, yeah, the Bulls are looking to get 2 firsts for Kevin Herter. I was like, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah,
Good luck.
no,
Good luck with
that's
that.
what I mean. You never know what to expect from that Chicago front office.
I just looked up a player, and I know this player got in a fight with Ron Holland last year, but I've always liked this game. If things go south in Minnesota, I wouldn't be opposed to trading for Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah, it's funny because there's obviously bad blood there. I don't know to what extent, if any of that carried over, or if that was
Yeah.
just a specific instance with one game. But yeah, Dante would be a great on the court fit in Detroit, and I don't even know if it would mean things went wrong in Minnesota. It could just be collateral in a sorry, excuse me, in a move where Minnesota goes out and gets that, big level point guard that they're obviously looking for. Like Detroit could find themselves as again like a third team in another deal where they get a high level player for relatively cheap, just because contracts need to get moved.
Yeah, someone had mentioned Grayson Allen, Jay Hart. He likes DiVincenzo and Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen definitely fits into that bad boy mold. Like
Oh, for sure.
I could definitely see like Stu and him being best friends, like 100%, just causing chaos on the court, like hiding behind Stu if he did something that he probably should know.
Yeah, Grayson Allen even kind of has the look of a bit like a little tiny Bill Laimbeer. So yeah, I could so see that becoming a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just a situation where I think that they'll be looking at 3-point shooting, especially this deadline. But it'll be interesting to see. I don't think I've talked about this much trade talk for a team that's number 1 in the East. I don't think I
Yeah,
talked about this much trade talk when they were on a losing streak. But I
that
think
too.
it kind of just goes to show you like the dynamic shift with this team, and like I think a lot of Pistons fans want them to continue to keep winning games, obviously, possibly have home court advantage, which would be such a wild turnaround from not making the playoffs and having home court in the first round. But hey, man, it's good times over here.